Today we're talking about alignment and how putting could hold the key to you standing to the ball in the right place to control that ball flight. Because I bet at some point you've questioned yourself as to whether you're in the right place. So how do you know that? Because alignment sticks probably aren't going to help you. Although we put them down, and we often see it, George, don't we? Alignment sticks on the floor, thinking about setting up square, and then even using those sticks to control the swing. The problem is, you're not going to have those sticks on the golf course. So today, having the luxury of the Zen Green stage, we're going to show you how putting can help you improve your alignment so you can swing and control that ball flight. So George, what are we going to do?
Well, we're currently on 0-0, so we've got a flat putt here. So perhaps you want to just start by approaching your flat putt, Marcus.
So that for me would feel like a square, it's probably not, but it feels like a square stance. And so where are we going to go next?
Well, why don't you play your flat putt and we'll see what happens.
So a pull, which is pretty standard for me.
But
So
what we might do is actually take this to something quite extreme. We're going to go 8% right to left. Always gets it on the second attempt.
exactly, it's like should be like tennis. We should have a let, shouldn't we? We'd all be off scratch if it was like
we're
that.
now en route up to 8% right to left as we're looking at it, Marcus.
Now, as this is starting to tilt, I can feel myself naturally moving into my heels with my pressure and automatically wanting to move into this space. I'm moving around the ball.
So why are you moving around the ball, Marcus?
And that's a great question. It's a question you want to be asking yourself on a putt, because naturally we're adapting to the slope, because we're already simulating this ball roll. I'm already picturing where this ball needs to go, only for a chance to go in. So I've not even seen what I think is the correct line. I'm just automatically moving into this space intuitively, because I know I need to swing the club this way to start the ball up there and then start to use the curve of the ball roll back to the hole. And I'm actually so far to the right, my back is almost facing where I'm going. If this was a full shot, I would probably never stand or consider this. But I probably need to, because
If you were going to play this amount of curvature.
exactly.
And we are extreme here, we're at 8% with a putt. But what you've explained there is how you're sort of orientating yourself, actually not to the target, but to the point at which it's going to curve in from, because you've come back from your entry point into the cup and then started to figure out your break point up here. So really you're orientating yourself for the break point.
At the end of the day, it's a curving ball we're playing for. I have to move to the right to allow for this curve to the left. We need to do the same thing with a full swing. A full shot is essentially a putt in the sky. But what we need to do first, using the putting, is just start to explore and experience what it's like to use this space. And actually, if you like, it's not an exaggeration, it's just allowing yourself to move into this space, which you would do normally without thinking for a putt. I wouldn't, for this putt here, I would absolutely need to stand here so I can swing, just like you said, George, and just...
That's a nice effort.
Oh,
Unlucky.
probably the closest we'll ever get to Augusta, I think, that. But that's the beauty of the Zen Green stage, you see. You can recreate all these amazing putts. So if you ask me now to point this in the direction I need to go, or I feel I need to go for the swing, in terms of the putt I just made, I'd be over here.
Yeah.
So if I put the ball on there and move around, as we just did with the putt, if we extend this, it's now exactly the same as if it was on a bank, but launching higher, still with the same apex. All I've done is extended it into the sky and now letting the ball just fall off the apex back towards the target, which I could imagine as actually a cup in the sky. So I could imagine a big cylinder. I could imagine the cup in the air and the ball just starting to curve off the apex back into it. And using that visualization and connecting that now to how I'm going to essentially set up this golf ball. Set up being a loose term, because what we're really doing is just We're just adjusting, we're adapting.
In response to the task.
Exactly.
So this space is really accessible for you now because you've orientated yourself like this.
Yeah.
Having visualised, worked back from the hole, visualised the shape of the shot, all the way back into your setup.
And also, not just this space available, this space. I can actually sense the arc of the swing and how I've orientated it to the right by me moving around into this place, which has now just enabled that to happen with so much more ease, really.
So you're not having to make big manipulated changes to the swing, you're letting the orientation to the golf ball do some of the work for you.
Yeah, and another thing that here feels a little bit different, and we see this regularly, is I'm facing over here in my finish with a ball that's going over there.
Yeah.
So I'm not actually limiting myself movement-wise by finishing where I want the ball to fly, essentially, or finish.
So what you're recognising you're not actually swinging the club in the direction you want the ball to
Exactly.
go. You know the ball is going to be curving to the left, but you're swinging to the right in order to achieve it.
At no point am I trying to finish to my target here with the intent of hitting it at the target, because just like a putt, you wouldn't putt and then follow through to direct to the hole.
Very
if
true.
I'm putting, my follow through is going this way. If I was to extend it, I'd finish in this direction. I wouldn't at any point redirect.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, continuing the arc, just allowing the continuation of that swing over my shoulder and letting my body just naturally find that place.
Hold your finish there, Marcus, because where you finished and the direction in which you've just swung reminds me of the many times we've held this hoop out here, the most famous hoop on social media.
Exactly.
And the reason we're holding the hoop over here is because we are exploring with people different swing directions. This is essentially what Marcus is doing with his orientation. He's opening up this space out to the right of his target for his swing direction. And that's what he was talking about, the corresponding place or the corresponding space on his backward swing, knowing that his through swing is going to come in this direction.
And as a caveat to that, the orientation of the divot board, that's why I felt it necessary just to move that round to the right.
Yeah. Here's a challenge for you, Marcus.
Yeah.
How are you going to change? We're currently at a 4% right to left above your feet. I'm going to press go on the green stage, and we're going to go 8% below your feet.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So straight away, ball's gone straight, weight's gone straight to the balls for my feet. I'm on my toes. Oh my God.
I'll hold you up, don't worry, Marcus.
So now I'm really having to adjust. So I'm going to just, you can see the balls are rolling. Hopefully this one stays there. Now, I feel like I'm in completely the wrong place for this shot.
What is the shot?
So I've just got to adjust my posture first. When I say that, my balance, I'm having to readjust. I'm having to just flex and move back into my heels a little bit. Otherwise I feel I'm going to topple over, so I'm not stable to swing. And here, this is, in relation to previous, I am so far right because if we take this same analogy as a putt from here, this ball's naturally, if I play this ball here, it's naturally going to go that way.
Yep. So what then do you need to do with your orientation?
For me to have a chance of holding this putt without making some kind of contorted swing, really forced, manipulated, I've got to really be so conscious throughout this movement, it's not really a natural action. I need to move into this space. So if we do take that away for a second and just bring the putter in, just behind you, George. Brilliant, thank you. So here, now, I'm in a completely different place relative to the ball and the target, just to enable me to make a swing that I feel is just relatively appropriate for this shot. I'm not actually getting into specifics at the minute. I'm not even thinking about where the ball's going to roll into the hole from and where I need to aim. I'm just
Again,
it's a ballpark.
You're just moving around to make some space available for a functional execution of this task.
This is a seriously extreme putt.
Well, given your past performance, I've got a 5 on this going in.
Oh, it's too short, I think. Look at that. But do you know what is so interesting? Is how far left my body is aiming. If this was an alignment stick, I'm 45 degrees. Now, that's extreme. This would be in terms of a golf shot, this would be a huge slice for me. But it's a place I need to explore, because now I've got some kind of barometer. I can actually gauge how far I've orientated myself to the left, because I felt that place over there to the right for the draw. For the left to right curving ball, this is, for me, an extreme feeling. So I can move around, and we may explore that in a minute. But I just want to have one more go at this, George, because I feel like I can get this. I feel.
This is the one.
I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Oh, I'll never make it to the
We'll blame the
Masters.
greenkeepers for that one, Marcus.
Yeah, it's this. They didn't cut the greens this morning.
So now, perhaps, maybe if I take your putter and you pick up your iron, now, yes, you can maybe orientate the divot board into a space that you feel is necessary if we're going to elongate this out to a 160,
So here,
170 yard shot.
Now I'm swinging this way.
It really does look extreme to the left, but as we know, what going through that process of putting has shown us is that you actually need to access this space over here.
What it's also done there as well, it's made me really focused on my practice swings. I'm actually making a practice swing with purpose here. There's some intention behind my practice swing. So I'm actually connecting my movement here, and I'm playing what I feel is the shot in my mind, and obviously I'm moving naturally here to create that. So I'm feeling the action I intend to make. So it's giving me now, it's almost like a movie I'm playing, and I'm just going to go and play it again.
And it really is representative of the task you're about to undertake. So if you have one more practice swing for me, Marcus, and just hold that finish. As you hold it there, as you were talking about earlier, when we were playing a right to left, you notice your finish was way over here. This time, you're way over in this space. You're still not at the target, you're way left of target.
Literally 90 degrees away. I'm here, target's there. Previously, I was over there.
Maybe if Marcus wants to play this shot, he's probably going to get to that same finish. There we go.
Exactly where I was expecting, really, what I felt in my practice swing. So I'm connecting practice swing to the shot, but it's all born out of the initial intention. Orientation starts to happen naturally because there's a recognition there which underpins my movement for the shot. So it's connecting movement to the visualization, but to make that all possible, we have to recognise how we're orientating our body.
And in a context, maybe, where people tend not to question themselves so much.
Absolutely.
People tend not to question their putting stroke or their alignment in putting as much as they do in a full swing.
Exactly. And not using the target as the 0-0 reference. Using your ball flight.
Yeah.
Using your ball flight as, that's the reference. Because that's what you're attuning yourself to. The process I'm undertaking here, which feels totally natural because it's all based organically around the intention of that shot, as per the putt, I'm just falling into this place, really. I'm not actually trying to premeditate it and almost calculate it. I'm just naturally falling into this place.
Yeah, not being too scientific about it either.
Absolutely not.
In the sense that if people at home are playing around with this and recognising how much to the right they are with the ball above their feet, it's not necessarily going to be an exact science of, well, if it's this much right for me, it's going to be, by definition, this much left. People's swings are going to be different. You're going to have different biases, different preferences. And so you need to find what's right for you, not doing the maths on a calculator and write it down in your notebook. I'd highly recommend experiencing this and feeling it.
Absolutely. I mean, basically, we're getting out of our own way. We're allowing this just to happen and let the body take care of all the calculations as it does every day in your life without even thinking about it. There's too many variables here to consider, so let the body take care of that. All we've got to do is not disadvantage ourselves by putting ourselves into a place which makes that space we want to swing through difficult to access.
Yeah.
So we're just making movement easier to execute.
So we're really lucky here because we have a Zen green stage, which we can adjust slopes for. So Marcus, what would the good folk at home, without the luxury of a green stage, what could they do at their practice ground or their driving range to sort of help replicate these different sloping lies?
I mean, we've all got a bag towel. take the bag towel off and wedge the mat up. So you could wedge the mat up, ball above the feet, wedge it below the feet. Challenge yourself to adapt and see where you need to go on the mat. You probably find yourself standing in the same place on that mat every time. Have you ever explored moving round into the corner of the mat? We see it all the time when people come along and we ask them to, we even move with the hoop, and we see movement potentially with the club, as you did earlier, with their arms and club, but you don't see a particular noticeable movement with the body to facilitate that because they're so used to standing in the same place on a mat. But that's maybe because they're not challenging themselves. So wedging the mat, moving the ball, encouraging you to move, and embrace that. Go with it, explore it. Let yourself just move into that space, and you'll attune yourself as required to the curvature that it's creating.
Use all areas of the mat.
Use that space available, exactly.
So now we're flat. Can he hit it straight?
Almost.
Very close.
Almost.
I'll say that drifted on the wind for the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, almost the unicorn. And this, guys, is what starts to create consistency. So consistency being controlling the ball flight and there ain't an alignment stick inside.